All right, Zero, so we are at the end of the episode, but before we go, Zero, I have a question for you.
All right.
All right. Zero, it was announced that the 20th anniversary happened this past week for Xbox Live. For those of you who are too young to remember, Xbox Live was a revolutionary system that happened on the original Xbox 20 years, good Lord, 20 years ago. Wow, that is crazy. And I remember it specifically because it came with Pac-Man. And I was like, cool, Pac-Man. But Xbox Live didn't make it big until I think Halo 2 came out. And the multiplayer on that was huge on that. So here's my question, Zero. What is your fondest memory or the thing that you think about when you think about Xbox Live in the past 20 years?
It'll be a little bit interesting for me to say this, but I actually didn't get on Xbox Live until the Xbox 360 era.
Okay.
Mostly because just the short time that I did have one of the original Xboxes, didn't simply have the money to subscribe and connect online to go play games and stuff. But unfortunately, soon after I got my Xbox, it was fried by a lightning strike that caused a power surge in my parents' house.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'll trade all my crap in and get a PS2.
My first memory, this is going to sound stupid. My first memory of getting Xbox and Xbox Live is being at my friend's house, hooking it up, showing him the online, and him being amazed by it. And we go on to NHL 2K. I remember this specifically. And we go against somebody, and all we're doing is griefing the guy. Like, he's playing the game. He's killing us, of course. And we're like, hey, man, your parents home?
Oh, my God.
And it's like, I live by myself. And it's like, you want to see a grown man naked? Like, totally just like, and the guy was a good sport, but it's just like, he's like, you guys are stupid. But in all seriousness, like, I know Halo 2 was the big thing that got a lot of people to get Xbox Live. But the one thing that I was amazed by was Xbox Live on 360, camera, Uno.
Yes, I've heard many a story about that.
Oh my Lord. Do you know how much sex I've seen on Uno?
I have heard the forum stories.
Or how many people that I've seen smoking weed while playing Uno. There was one time that I was playing Uno, and you know what? Actually, I'm not going to say this because this is kind of disgusting. I'll tell you off this because it's disgusting. But there was some wild things I saw on there. Like, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is crazy. But that I think is my fondest memory. Now, Xbox Live is not the Wild West it used to be. And that's the thing about Xbox Live. It was crazy back then. Like, especially 360 era. Like, it was nuts. Like, they let you get away with anything in that. Like, I remember stories where people would do drug deals on Uno. Like, they say, oh, I got this kilo. Oh, yeah, really? Okay, meet me here and here. And they would actually do drug deals through this. And it took a while for the feds to figure out what was going on, essentially. That was nuts, man. Oh, and 1 versus 100. Oh, my Lord. Remember 1 versus 100?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, my God. That was crazy, too. Yeah, like, Xbox Live really changed a lot of what gaming is now. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I wouldn't have known games like Carcassonne or Catan or played games like Pac-Man Championship Edition, one of my favorite games of all time. Like, without Xbox Live. And that's another thing that Xbox Live did well, is the arcade. All these mini, like, small games for like $10-15 that were fantastic games. I got a lot of fond memories on this, but of course the fondest ones of me griefing people and seeing tits on Uno. Those are the things that I will sit down with my grandkids and go, do you know I saw tits when I was playing Uno on Xbox Live? Like, Grandpa, no, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, for me, it was my pharmacist that I worked with back when I was in the healthcare industry as a pharmacy technician. My pharmacist was a big Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, dude, do you have Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox? I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, dude, me and you should party up and play. I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't really have Xbox Live. And unfortunately, just the regional manager isn't letting you give me a promotion, so it's not like I can afford to pay my bills if I maintain a sub. And he's just like, yo, man, be right back. Wanders all the way back to the electronics section of the store where we worked at and everything, buys a 1-year card for me, and he's just like, now you got no excuse. We got to get on tonight. And I was just like, all right, I guess I'll trade you my nickname and stuff. So traded nicknames. We both had worked the closing shift at the pharmacy and everything. So pharmacy closed up shop at 9 o'clock, and he was like, all right, man, I know you got to drive back to your home and everything out about a city away. But yeah, just send me a text message. And once I get that message, I will log online and we'll get some Call of Duty going on. I was like, all right, cool. And then just got home, sent up a text. Both of us logged on. I party up with him, and we just start trolling the lobbies and everything, just blowing up dudes. And me and him were just cracking up because just I would get like a hilarious game-winning kill, or he'd end up like destroying a guy with like a kill streak or something. And we would just have just a bunch of fun just fucking around on Xbox Live that evening and everything. And I think the both of us played until almost like 2 or 3 in the morning, and both of us had realized, we're like, oh shit, we both open the pharmacy, don't we? Oh shit, you're right. Okay, we both should log off.
A couple of other things I remember having. I remember getting Forza 2 on Xbox 360, and the manager of GameStop basically was like, "Oh, do you have Xbox Live?" I'm like, "Yeah, give me your thing, and we'll play." And all we did was we drove the track backwards and crashed into each other just to see how the physics work. And that, and then one more. I was working at the bank as a banker, and I was pretty unabashed about how much of a big gamer I was. So everyone knew I was into video gaming, and they also knew I liked to write about video games too. And we all started talking. The manager was like, "Oh wait, you're on Xbox Live, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Give me your screen name." And without thinking, I gave him my screen name. Do you want to know what my screen name was at the time?
Oh goodness, I can't even imagine.
Well endowed. Now I was clever. I spelled Dowd well in and DAOD, like Taoism.
Right.
Right. So he saw I was like, well endowed. Oh God. He never gave me a screen name. Like after a week, I'm like, yo, dude. I'm like, hey, are you gonna like? I asked him, like, are you gonna follow me on Xbox so we can play? He's like, dude, I can't friend you with that friends request. My wife will think I'm into things I'm not supposed to be into. I'm like, oh, sorry. But yeah, Yeah, just some fun memories. And of course, it's mostly me griefing and being an idiot. But that was like the beauty of Xbox Live. Now you can't do that. Now there is heavy moderation, and for good reason, of course. But there's heavy moderation as to what you can do in there. So, and as I've gotten older, I'm not as clever with my screen names. And plus, I have a nephew who's on my Xbox a lot, and if he took a look at like some of my past screen names, I have to explain with him like my old screen names and be like, why? Like, because I have like my PSN name is what it was in the beginning, and I just don't want to change because I don't want to lose any of the games I have.
Right.
So I had to explain to him what that screen name meant and all that stuff. So like I can't do those names anymore. And being as old as I am now, it's kind of silly to do the overly silly or sexually explicit screen names, but I do miss it. I thought it was fun. But yeah, Xbox Live, crazy. 20 years of it though. I did not realize that until it was announced. But wow, 20 years of Xbox Live.
And to kind of cap that off, Hyperkin has announced that they'll be remaking the original Xbox 360 controller for PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. The only downside is that it's going to be wired. It will not be wireless.
Yeah, the wired thing sucks. I play on a monitor, so I don't care. It doesn't bother me too much. My question is, who's really nostalgic for the Xbox 360 controller? Like, what have been the differences between the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X? Slight differences. Like, maybe the curvature on the top of the Xbox 360 controller is different from the other two. Otherwise, they're essentially the same controller. Like, and this is me. I don't get the nostalgia for playing like maybe playing games on old hardware, fine, but the old controllers, I mean, they're outdated for a reason. Like, they're just not comfortable. Like, especially with my hands, I cannot see myself playing an old Super NES game on an old Super NES controller. I would need an Xbox One controller. I would need it because those controllers are just not comfortable to hold anymore. So nostalgia only goes so far with me. Like, yeah, give me the old game for me to play, but please make it comfortable to play. Like, I don't want to play with the old NES controller where you have to really mash the button in order to actually get to work. No, I don't want to do that. Like, give me a 360 controller, I'll figure it out. Thank you. Like, whatever. Or give me the Xbox One controller. But I don't see who's nostalgic for the Xbox 360 controller. Do you feel the same way?
The 360 controller was okay.
Yeah.
But for me, just the peak of the Xbox controller designs was really just the Xbox One and the Xbox Series controllers now. And,
yeah.
I say this as a person who owns the Special Edition Titanfall controller and the 20th anniversary Xbox controller that was released sometime last year, and then also as a person who owns two Xbox Elite controllers, both a version 1 and a version 2. So yeah, just really, really love the Xbox controller designs, but I guess my hands are kind of on the small side because my Analog Super NT, I actually have some Bluetooth 8BitDo replicas of the Super Nintendo controllers, and they still feel comfortable to me.
Well, the 8BitDo ones aren't bad. I have a wired version of the 8BitDo Super NES controllers, but even when I play with that, my hands get cramped, and they just feel uncomfortable after a certain amount of time. It still plays very well with, like, 2D games, but after a while, I'm like, I really miss having the feel of the Xbox One controllers. Like, I prefer that. And they started making the Super NES controllers with those handles,
Yep.
which I didn't buy. So I was like, okay, those are cool, but do I really want it? Not really. So whatever. But to me, at least, there's a reason why they innovate those controllers because of the comfort and just how they feel in the hand, and how they work. Like, to me, that makes sense. Why go backwards at that point? Like, I have no problem playing an NES game on an Xbox controller. I have zero problem with that. Or on a PlayStation controller. Like, I don't care. Like, if you're nostalgic for it and you like it, fine. I have no beef with you. I just don't get it. Because there's a reason why the controllers have improved. Because they just feel better. And I would rather feel good while playing the game and not having my hand cramp than to just play it as it used to be. Like, there's a reason why things have improved in that space. So that's just me.
It'll be interesting to see how the future of online console gaming evolves further on. I think Riot and Ubisoft recently announced that they'll be doing a coalition partnership to monitor online game communications to help filter out toxicity, which is one of the next steps forward in online gaming. So
Yeah.
we'll see how either effective or useless that'll be.
Yeah. Probably fairly useless. Thank you for listening to this podcast segment. The Capital Games podcast is done every week, and we post it on all your favorite podcast apps, as well as segments on YouTube. If you want to listen to another segment, you can listen to a new one right there on the screen. We also do a movie podcast called the Capital Games Movie Club. If you'd like, you can go ahead and click on that and see all the movies that we have reviewed from that point. Thank you for listening, and we hope to hear from you soon.